Hey, it
Hey,
is the spooky month of October, and with that, the big holiday is Halloween. And I figured I want to do a video with my friend Brann and my other friend Zach, who is not a VTuber. He is one of those flesh tubers. Actually, he's not a tuber, he just hangs out.
Yeah,
But he's there.
yeah.
I want to talk to you both about a cryptid. And the reason it came to my mind recently is because someone pointed out they're like, hey, this looks like your model. And I was like, what? No way. Let me check this thing out. And then I looked at it and I went, that goddamn Flatwoods Monster stole my drip.
They're still your.
Look at him.
oh,
Yo, it's Count Dripula.
It's Count Dripula.
interesting.
You sounded like you may have recognized this monster, Brann. Have you ever heard of the Flatwoods Monster?
Flatwoods part sounds familiar. I just don't know anything else.
I mean, one of these images she don't
sounds
look
familiar.
so fat. She don't look so flat. Hey, yo.
Hey,
You see them
Hey.
hips? Sorry.
Your Honor, Wood.
Wood. Okay.
speaking
Also,
of wood and the Flatwoods Monster, it is from West Virginia, much like the Mothman, and it comes from a town called Flatwoods. And I'd
Who'da
be
thunk?
actually very surprised if any of you heard of this town because it has a current population in the year of our Lord 2023 of 261, and I don't know
Damn.
what it was in 1952 when this thing was spotted.
looks like an angry
But
light bulb.
weirdly enough, it does look like an angry light bulb or like a gumball machine.
Yeah.
But it was first spotted in 1952 in this tiny town in Braxton County, West Virginia. And for context, what was going on in 1952? Well, the Oslo Olympics, the Winter Olympics for that year, as I'm sure you both know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The funeral for King George VI across the pond in Britain. And the U.S. ratifies the peace treaty with Japan, also known as the San Francisco Treaty, officially ending the war in Japan. So this is a while ago. On September 12th, 1952, three boys are playing on the lawn of Flatwoods Elementary School in Flatwoods, West Virginia, at around 7:15 p.m. They are the brothers Edward and Fred May, 13 and 12 respectively, and their friend Tommy Heyer, age 10, where they see a bright object cross the sky and land on the property of a farm owner named G. Bailey Fisher. The red marker is for where the elementary school currently is. Now, I did look at some Braxton County Department of Education information, and it says that elementary school was made in 1980, which is about 30 years after the supposed events. But it is possible that the original school was torn down and then rebuilt, or rebuilt
Moved.
somewhere else. Exactly. Wherever. However,
Oh, it's got a dairy bar.
a dairy bar.
I was just about to say the spot. You want to go to the spot, grab a chocolate milk.
So this might come as a surprise, but the Flatwoods Monster is kind of the only thing going on in this town for the last 70 years.
Shocker! What a
Damn.
shocker!
The May boys and their friend Tommy Heyer rush home to the May family house, where they call their mother, Kathleen May, to say, hey, we saw this light come down out of the sky on this farmer's property. Kathleen, being the 1950s and, small community, calls up the local member of the West Virginia National Guard who lives nearby, named Eugene Lemon, who is only 17 years old,
Jesus.
and says, hey, something fell out of the sky. Come with us, we're going to go investigate. And at some point, this party picks up two other members along the way, Neil Nunley and Ronnie Shaver. I've looked at different accounts of how the story happens, and I don't really know how these two kids just kind of show up as part of the party, but anyway. And again, to give further context to how small this town is, in my research, I found the Jacob Shaver Cemetery and then looked into the individual Jacob Shaver. And he was married Christian Hare back in 1816. And if you are paying attention to the last names, those are two of the last names of the members of this party.
Of the current party,
So-
yeah.
Exactly. So this is like very long-standing local families.
Interesting.
It was to me, but I don't think it's interesting to anyone else. Eugene Lemon, member of the National Guard, 17, and current captain of this search party, enter the property and go to investigate what they saw. The group of 7 made their way to a hill near where the object is said to have landed. Beyond the edge of the hill, they see a pulsating red light. As they're staring at this red light on the other side of the hill, 2 beams, as if from flashlights or car lights, come upon them. They turn to look, and they see the Flatwoods Monster, the angry light bulb man. According to them, it arrived in a pungent red mist. Its face was red and featureless, with a hood shaped like a spade, as if like the ace of spades. And it floated through the air instead of walking. And its lower body was either a metal cylinder or some sort of metallic dress. And it had 2 claw-like hands and was about 12 feet tall. Upon the flashlight coming upon it, it made a hissing sound as it approached. Eugene, member of the National Guard, dropped his flashlight in panic, and upon doing so, the party fled into the woods. They reported it to the police, and the police came to investigate, and do you know what they found?
Nothing.
Correct. They found nothing.
Damn.
Not a thing. Supposedly, some reports say that they still smelled a weird smell, but there is very little. The members of the party said they felt nauseous and had sore throats for several days after the events, which I did look is actually a symptom of hydrazine exposure, which is a type of rocket fuel. However, the official, you know what the government says.
True enough, brother.
The government says that it's probably more just symptoms from having panic, like a panic attack. And, just general exertion.
Yeah,
from
nothing
doing
like
so.
a group panic attack.
The official explanation I'll get to later, but there were supposedly other sightings around that time of the same monster. Supposedly the same day, Audra Harper was walking in the woods of her property near Heaters, which is up on that northeast side, on her property, when her and her friend saw some glowing lights over a hill, much like the same way. Paying very little mind, they just kept walking, and then when she turned back to look at it, she saw the silhouette of the creature standing on the hill, backlit by the pulsating lights. Seeing it, they fucking ran, so I can't really blame them.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying.
And it's 12 feet tall and floats through the air and hisses at you. Supposedly the next day as well, George and Edith Snitowski were driving their car and stalled, and I believe this was near, down at the south side of the map, several miles away. Their car stalled, and as they were sitting in the car waiting for someone to come by, the monster just kind of floated out of the woods and dragged its claws across the hood of the car before disappearing. As it left, the car was able to restart, and they booked it out of there. This third sighting, they was published in a magazine called Mail Magazine in 1955.
What was it?
But
Are there any police reports about the third sighting?
not of the third sighting, no. And in fact, this third sighting was only given in 1955, which was 3 years after the original event's supposed to happen. And also given to Mail Magazine, and Mail as in M-A-L-E. So for all your guy and guy-related needs of having an alien drag its claws across the hood of your car, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, of course, there's an official explanation and most likely the actual explanation. Because a meteor was in fact sighted the same night over the states of Maryland, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, all of which would place it around the same area as Flatwoods. So that's probably what they saw in the sky. And as you may notice, directly north of Braxton County Airport, along the same line of departure of the runway, is Flatwoods, around the same area. And the red light that they believe to have seen, and I believe that the actual explanation is it's just a low-flying plane on the other side of the hill. Which, considering it is directly in the path of a northern departure from Braxton County Airport, would not be too crazy to think of. And also, there were around 3 aircraft in the air around there at the same time, and none of them reported any sort of crashing alien spaceship. And boy, let me tell you, Braxton County and Flatwoods, they love this monster. It is their thing. They have multiple shops set up, selling knickknacks, and have a museum to it. But one of the most interesting things, I have to say, is that the property owner, G. Bailey Fisher, has never come forward, as far as I'm aware, to make any mention of an alien craft on his property. And in fact, there is no specific address for his property of where the alien craft supposedly landed.
Mm-hmm.
And the Braxton County Chamber of Commerce officially says it is on private property. Do not go and investigate. So that is the end of the Flatwoods monster story. So I have to ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, what are we thinking? You thinking this guy's a real deal, floating around there, 12 feet tall, hissing at people?
Yeah, he's just an angry light bulb boy. He just wants to be he just wants to be a friend to somebody.
What kind of planes would take off from that kind of an airfield back in 1952?
50, yeah. Not
Probably
many.
like local small aircraft.
So like propellers?
Like crop dusters type.
Yeah,
type
propellers
vibe?
for sure.
Cessnas.
Could you argue that a propeller could make a hissing sound?
You could. You could also, I forgot to mention, another thing that makes a hissing sound and has a face kind of like a spade is a barn owl. Which is another feature thought to possibly be what they saw.
There's like some weird like deposit of like just some weird mineral deposit. They kicked up some dust and they inhaled it and they hallucinated some red angry light bulb. It was just a fucking barn owl, dude.
Well, they might not have even hallucinated anything. They might have just done. I don't know if you've ever been out in the woods with like friends and you start getting, you get each other amped up.
Yeah, you get amped.
And you're like, ooh, it's spooky.
Yeah.
And then when you encounter something like a barn owl on a tin water cistern, you're like, oh my gosh, it's a floating monster with a metal dress. And especially if you only see it for a brief second before your brave ward drops his flashlight and everyone books it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Your brave American hero's like, oh shit. It'd be cool to. It's like, oh, it was actually an early, like, rocket experiment because 52, right? That's what the end of World War II. We got all those Nazi scientists. We were developing rockets. It would make sense that we want to develop rockets close to, DC, which is in Virginia. You just do it. You could do it in some bumfuck area. No one would say anything. And then like a piece of the fucking rocket fell off, and they just have like jet fuel poisoning. That'd be so fucking cool.
It would be sick if this family of people got sick from hydrazine.
Yeah, if that was the actual reason.
But yeah, unfortunately, it's most likely just a barn owl, and a bunch of people saw it for a brief moment. Maybe with some trees.
Group hysterics and a barn owl.
But it does look like me. It does look like my avatar.
It does look like you.
It does look like you. I was like, that's weirdly accurate.
Maybe it was me. Maybe I was hanging around in 1950, you know? And Braxton County. Hey, that's our first cryptid episode. And I say first because, like, I don't know. Might make more.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like Pokemon. You gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all. And, you know, you got anything to say, or should I just end on a happy Halloween?
Happy Halloween.
Goodbye, my friend.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's like an anime thing, right?
Yeah, yada yada or something, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
No.
Yeah.
Ara ara.
No.
Ara,
No,
ara.
cease that.
Ara ara. No.
Aora.
Airy desu ne.
See, is this all perfect?
I watched a southern
All right.
vampire say ara ara once.
What?
Sorry, go ahead.
What?
When?
On TikTok, there's this girl who she's southern, but she's got vampire teeth, so she does Japanese like anime voice, but in a southern accent as a vampire. I don't know. It's
Arda des.
yeah, Arda des. Yeah, it's good.
Aora. What's Gorlami?
Gorlami.